thank you so much, everybody, for coming today. I'm super excited to just say a few words before this panel, just because Johnny Nelson has been a part of Jewelry Week since our inception. He was actually the very first exhibition we ever had in 2018. Johnny Nelson kicked off Jewelry Week. So it's very special for us whenever he's involved. We at Jewelry Week have been working really hard the past year to develop programming that really focuses on New York City. And one of the things we've really been interested in this year is NYC and hip hop. Grillz are obviously a big part of that world. Johnny Nelson reached out to us and said he really wanted to be a part of this conversation this year. So he came to us with this idea of putting this panel together. So I just wanted to give him credit on really stepping up with us to create some amazing programming. I hope this is just the start of it. He has some great ideas. So I hope you guys will all follow along as we continue growing with Johnny and sharing like the vision in the world that he's involved in. We have an amazing group of very talented women jewelers today. Johnny has a personal relationship with all of them, which I think is just a really cool thing. We're excited to hear like how these females have really opened it up for females to take the lead in Grillz throughout the country. Everyone is from different places. Super excited to like hear everyone's story. And with that really random sort of intro, sorry guys, I'm super excited. I'll pass it over to Johnny and take it away. I hope everyone enjoys the program.
Mute. Hey, I was sorry, I was muted. Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Johnny Nelson of Johnny Nelson Jewelry. I'm a Brooklyn-based jeweler. I make a lot of cultural inspired pieces and conversation starters and stuff like that, big rings like this. But today I have a few of my friends with me, and we're gonna talk about Grillz because I feel like they are super dope in this field, and I'm inspired by them. You know, some of them are my mentors, some of them are people that I look up to, and yeah, like I just thought it would be super dope. And I feel like this is like when people think of Grillz, they feel like it's like a male dominated thing, you know? So I just think it's super dope to have all of these women powerhouses just to be killing it and crushing it in the game. And I feel like it's inspiring. So I thought it'd be dope. So let's get it. Word. So we have my friend Helen with the gold teeth. Also we have Bijules. We have my friend and mentor, Erica Diggs of Diggs & Co. And we have my friend Ruru of Zona Baari. So can we start by introducing yourselves? We can start with Helen, please.
I think Helen's dialing in maybe for audio. Helen, we can't hear you.
It's cool. So we can start with Jules.
Yeah, hi guys. Hi everyone. Can you hear me? Thanks. Oh, great. Thanks for having me and inviting me. I guess quickly, just a brief intro to me and my work. I started making jewelry almost 20 years ago. And coming from nightlife scene in Lower Manhattan, being a DJ and sort of promoting parties and creating community around all of that, it really, I guess, started honing my own sense of how I see the world and really creating a very fast and steady point of view that I've held on to ever since. And so I think After almost 15 years, I started carving out the grill aspect of my business. And in order for me to do that, especially with respect to the artisanal side of making grills, I enlisted Charlie Goldcap. And Charlie Goldcap is super Chinatown LES standard in the grill game here in Lower Manhattan. So working with him also started, you know, a really beautiful relationship and really helped push the idea through not just my own channels, but also through his. So it's been a really exciting time.
That's fire. Word. I feel like I first heard about you from like I think my friend Mellow X. I think he had a ring of yours.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like he had it was like a 1-finger ring, but it covered 3 fingers.
Yes, the bar ring. Yeah.
Yeah, the bar ring. And I used to always see that, and I used to be like, yo, who made that? You feel me? And he used to be like, yo, Bijules. And that was when I was just doing like my wire wraps and stuff, like my 3-finger wire wraps. But I was like super like impressed by that. Word.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, the bar ring was definitely a ubiquitous signature for my collection, and people would dap at the door and get into clubs. It's definitely like a cult favorite type of vibe. And then also like we see how things move through trends, and they start from low, especially in New York. We start with our street culture, our undercover vibes, and then it starts flowing up. So we're pushing from the underground up. And that's normally how at least my system has worked for almost 2 decades.
All right, that's dope. Let's see. Erica, can you tell us about yourself and like your jewelry game and how you got into the process of making grills?
Yeah, I'm originally from New Orleans, even though I'm here in New York. And growing up, I remember seeing infomercials at night, Cash Money, No Limit. Everybody had grills. That's just growing up in New Orleans. And I managed to join the military, do over a decade in the military, and I got out and I decided I wanted to make jewelry. And naturally so, I started off with Grillz.
That's fire. I remember, I think when I first met you too, it was like I was in the Diamond District, and then it was like a full experience, because like you took me to get like my ring appraised, and then I went to your office across the street, and then you had somebody, like you had a runner, and somebody came upstairs, and they actually had a customer for you, and then they got their impressions made, and then like I seen that process. Like I never seen that being done before, so like that was my first time actually being introduced to being introduced to the Diamond District and like how that system works over there, you know? So that was fire.
Yeah,
right?
I remember.
And I appreciate
I actually grabbed you and took you, like I wouldn't let you go. I remember that day.
That was a fact. Word, y'all appreciate that. Hella, you know? Word. Let's go to Ruru. I mean, yeah. Hey, Ru.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you clearly.
Hi, how's everybody doing? I guess I started to experiment with jewelry in 2012 while I was in New York, and that was mostly with waxwork. I'm originally from Miami, Florida, and I grew up seeing gold teeth everywhere. My teachers had gold teeth. Everybody had gold teeth. And I went back to Miami in 2017, 2018. And I was like, this is cool. I want to learn this, and it's a moneymaker. And I was lucky enough to just come across an ad on Craigslist for a gold grill spot that was looking for an apprentice at the time.
That's
and
fine.
I got to learn on the job, from the impression all the way down to polishing down the teeth. And yeah, started from there. And now I'm in LA.
That's fire. I feel like like one day I was just on Instagram, and I just like randomly seen you like polishing some teeth. And I was like, oh wow, like you really into it, like you really got into it, you know. And I saw you with a bench, and I feel like when I saw you like at your bench, I feel like that inspired me to actually get my bench, you know. Even though like I was working like through like I had like an apprenticeship on like Canal Street at the NYC Jewelry Exchange, but I didn't have my own bench. But I feel like you like kind of like inspired me to actually start to get my own setup, you know. And I'm appreciative. Word, yo. Let's go to Helen with the gold teeth. Yo. Helen, are you muted?
No, I'm not.
All right, bet.
No,
What's
you can
good,
hear me
yo?
now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, great. Something changed. I don't know what it was. Hi, I'm Helen. I'm the founder of Helen with the Gold Teeth. I started working in jewelry last year in 2019. It was completely random. At the time, I was working as an engineer in enterprise tech sales, and I was mentoring folks who were trying to transition into the tech field. One of my passions is helping non-traditional candidates get white collar jobs, making money that like literally anyone should be able to get, but unfortunately diverse. And one of the people that I was trying to groom into becoming an engineer actually turned me into a jeweler instead. And it's just been magic the whole way through.
That's fire. I feel like another like it was like super random because like I feel like my homegirl, what's her name? My homegirl Lavonda, she was getting some Grillz, and then she was like, "Yo, Helen is doing them," and I'm like, "Helen?" They're like, "Yo, I know Helen from back in the days, like from the party scene. Like she used to be a DJ and stuff like that, you know." But then it was just like, then after I heard that, it was just like a random thing. It was like everybody was going to Helen, and Helen was doing these pop-ups every week, and everybody was going to get these teeth, and I was just like super impressed. Like, wow, you know, that's fire.
Thanks, Johnny.
Let's see. So, all right, I have a question starting off with Bijules, with Jules. So like I know that you did the mouthpiece for Erykah Badu, the Badru, the floss.
Mm-hmm.
That's super fire. I feel like she wore that for in the Hot 97 interview too. Word, I think I saw that. And that was inspired by the Senegalese wrestlers, right?
Yes. So my husband is an Italian photographer and did a really comprehensive story with Senegalese wrestlers in Dakar. So when he came back, you know, we're both artists, so we're sitting there reviewing all of the work that he had done, and there's several really strong images. And this was a long time ago. And I remember looking at this image and having heard the stories of the practice of the match, not just the sport itself, but the belief system around the players, around the fans, how it's a national coming together, and there's a lot of worship and a lot of, how do you say, rituals, pre-match rituals. So one of the rituals is that there are rocks that from each village, each player will wrap this thread over the piece of his village, and then he'll place it in his mouth. And then there's also lots of potions being made, lots of chants happening, even more than they're doing the actual athleticism. They're showcasing their beliefs. And so I saw this and I said, this is something that I've always wanted to play with, because in my career, I was always working with celebrities and always really pushing the envelope of how I see jewelry and how its definitions were never quite acceptable to me, because I come from a non-traditional background and I'm always seeing things from a rebellious perspective. So when I see something as beautiful as another practice and another standard of beliefs, then I think immediately how it could play into fine jewelry, how it can be a source of storytelling for not just the generation that's sporting the goods, but also for the generation that follows. So when I met Erica, I was working with her for a few years, and then I just sat on this idea, and then I'm sitting in her house, and I remember I was like, I've got this idea. I've really been wanting to show someone who would love and respect the idea and the storytelling behind it. And so I had all these prototypes. I put it in my mouth and I turned around and she was like, oh, and I was, oh my God, it gives me shivers now just thinking about the dialogue, the collaboration, the spirit that was shared in making such a iconic piece for her, and her sporting it with such pride. It was the same pride that I saw in that Senegalese wrestler. So in that sense, it's like creating something permanent, because us as individuals, as human sources, like we will ultimately leave this earth, but our jewelry will always be here. And there's something really romantic and permanent about creating something that goes inside of ourselves, that represents who we are, not just from within, but how people perceive us from the outside. And I think that's a really intimate storytelling aspect that you have to have balls to put it in. You have to go through a process that's extremely intimate. What other process involves going to a human being's body in order to accessorize themselves and to present themselves? So I really thought that the storytelling aspects and the intimacy and pride that comes from working with Grillz was just an astounding property of being a jewelry designer, jewelry maker, and also like working with beautiful, enthusiastic, and creative clients like Erica Badu, like all of the people that we work with collectively. That also makes our businesses and our art forms even more astounding and beautiful. I don't want to speak for everybody, but I just find that, I mean, all of us females making Grillz in a world that is dominated by males, it's also a big step for us as a unit to be speaking with the power of our choice. We volunteered to have taken up this role, and I think that's a really powerful choice that we make as a collective, not of course as individuals, but as a collective as well.
All right. I concur. But this is like not one of the questions, but I want to know, like, how did it feel like to actually be able to like share the same, like maybe like this, like for you and Erica to have like the same feeling of how dope this piece was, like, you know, like to basically share the same vision almost, but like,
yeah, well, I think it was like it was a greeting of kismet personalities and something that felt so otherworldly that I really had to pinch myself for a long time, and still do. I remember after sharing that moment with Erica, I always want to reach that pinnacle feeling every time I work with a client. That is a fundamental aspect of doing custom fine jewelry, is that you become, you share a divine likeness with your client that, sorry, if I buy a car, I'm not really trying to get down with the guy who's selling it to me. You know what I mean? Like, it's a very like rudimentary exchange. but an exchange of ideas that results in establishing a profound relationship, not just for that moment, but that can also become quite prolific in the way that Erica sees the world. When people I've seen get tattoos of Bijules on their arm.
That's
You know,
gnarly.
people sketch it, like it becomes not just a part of someone who is iconic, but it starts fueling pop culture and being part of historical storytelling during this time is something that we're all part of, that we've chosen to propagate and to comment on the context of today with the art that we choose to make. And I think that that's a great honor and a blessing to be able to surmount our own personal roadblocks and be able to still be productive and still have a voice, and to work with amazing people and bring that message to a broader audience.
Facts, I dig it. All right, so Ru, so I know that you're from Miami and of East African descent. I want to know, how does this play a role in your jewelry making? Not limited to Grillz.
Well, I'll say a little bit more about some of the other things that I make. Outside of jewelry, I'm kind of doing like this world building of heaven on earth, and that's exercised through home decor, accessories, like grills, as well as ceramic jewelry and metal jewelry, and some clothing as well. And I felt like Grillz fit into that world building of heaven on earth. And this heaven on earth concept not so much comes from my East African or kind of, well, my Miami identity, but it has a lot to do with like the Abrahamic traditions that I was raised in, being both Muslim and also having Orthodox Christian family, and always learning about the stories of Adam and Eve, heaven and hell. And when I was working at the Gold Grill Studio down in South Florida, what I thought was the most interesting thing was when dudes would come in to get perms. So that means perms are permanent grills. And it was always a certain type of situation. And it was one of pride. And you had men coming in who pretty much were saying like, I'm totally free. Nobody's my boss. And I'm going to have permanent gold teeth in my mouth at all times. And that was such a statement of, in my opinion, freedom. Obviously, for Black men to be able to walk around like this, they have to be their own boss. And I was like, yeah, I resonate with that energy. I want to be part of that. I do not do perms. All of my golds come out, but gold being such a historical element, all the way back to Indigenous history, I feel like it's almost like in my DNA to want to play with that in this lifetime. And I think it's awesome that it's become a modern kind of style again. But yeah, I guess that's where I'm coming from with it.
I dig it. All right, so I'm gonna go to Helen.
Okay.
So like I know that you have like a growing like clientele base, and like they're very diverse, right? And like on like a regional aspect, I wanted to know like what, like can you tell us like any like regional styles of grills like that you would know like off the back, like what's like a Miami style, what's like a New York style, what's like a Detroit style, you know, like.
Absolutely. I typically like to wear stuff with diamond cuts on it. I make jewelry, so people assume like, oh, Helen, you should be wearing like something iced out because you don't have to pay retail. But I wear what my nieces and nephews wear. I like just plain golds that pop in and out with diamond cuts. That's my favorite. That's very Milwaukee. Down south in Florida, like she was saying before, people typically wear perms. I sell teeth in New York that come as close as you can to looking like you have perms in. I make them in Florida. The New Orleans style, it's different because they usually are also permanent, but I think it's both a combination of the way they make the tooth and the way they alter the tooth that gives it a square look. And it's usually a higher grade gold. I mean, Atlanta is not really a gold tooth place, especially, but I would say outside of the Carolinas, Florida, Texas, and yes, I would say the Carolinas, Florida, Texas, they just have really clean looks to them, real natural. They just look like regular perms, like they look like a regular tooth wrapped in gold. I like the Texas look, which has a different diamond setting on it. I don't really sell a lot of that. Nobody's really trying to get that from me yet. But like the people who follow me down south, they notice that I speak about the nuance. The New York look, I mean, like, don't get me wrong, you guys have your own gold teeth tradition up here. The more I'm learning about everything, the more I'm finding out about who made these contributions over time and sort of establish like what the sort of aesthetic is in New York. But I wouldn't say that there's like a real recent kind of New York tradition. We look back to, you know, the heyday of like the Wu-Tang teeth, really, you know, when we're talking about a New York style, at least I do. Even though I know that these younger guys in recent years, they brought it back. They brought it back. I would say like since 2010, right? And that has to do with Southern culture, like almost dominating mainstream rap culture.
All right, cool.
So I would say around 2010, right? When all these rap groups started coming out together, and not just ASAP. Those kids all had gold teeth, and those kids all loved Master P. So, I mean, like, even the New York style, it pays homage to the South. And I mean, like, up here, everybody's got gold teeth. Doesn't matter if you're from Central America, you're from the Caribbean, you're from South America, you're from the Asian continent. Like, there's so many people here that have gold teeth in these contexts that I literally didn't even know about. And then, I mean, like, the Diamond District is largely Jewish, right? Gold teeth is a Jewish tradition. They took them out of people's mouths in the Holocaust. So yeah, it varies from region to region. But I would say right now there's just a cross-pollination and people from everywhere are celebrating everything.
I dig it. Okay, so you spoke about, and that was very informational. Like, I just learned a lot. So you were talking about like the diamond setting in the teeth, right? And I know that my friend Erica, like she's really good at like diamond setting like the teeth. Like she basically could bust out like a mouthpiece for like over like 100 or like 200 stones. So I want to know, like, Erica, can you tell us like the process of how that goes, basically, like just setting all of these stones and like what diamonds to use and like, you know, like the mistakes you might make and you got to do it again. Like it's a process in general. And then everybody else can tell me about their processes also with like the designing and stuff. But let's go for it.
Well, yeah, basically I got into making jewelry on my own, and a lot of the process I do from diamond setting to casting and everything else in my own home. But one of the big things that I've noticed, especially now that I'm doing diamond setting for other jewelers, is it's hard for the thickness and the consistency of the teeth, because it's not like regular jewelry where you're going to have like, you know, maybe 2 millimeters throughout so you can have ample space to set your diamonds. With the teeth, you're going with the curvature of the teeth, and most of the time these are hand carved. So as far as the human mind goes, you're really not able to gauge the distance between the actual tooth and, you know, the top of the wax that you're actually sitting there carving. So that is it's a big thing for me when I'm setting. I need to make sure that there's ample space for me to set the diamonds. I'm actually working on a set right now. I don't know if you can see it, that it's almost completely done. But I'm using all sorts of sizes of diamonds from 1.3 millimeter all the way down to 0.07 millimeters, just to make sure that every single space is filled. And I've noticed from, you know, from jeweler to jeweler, where there are different ways of setting the diamonds. Everyone, sometimes they will, instead of filling the whole space, they'll put beads where, you know, you can't get that same size diamond. So they'll fill those spaces with beads. Me personally, I'm not going to put beads there. I'm going to find the smallest possible diamond because I don't want any extra space. I want the whole thing flooded out and looking absolutely gorgeous.
That's fire. So the beads, that'll be like considered like illusion or cheating.
Yeah, but it's really not cheating. It's okay with all jewelry, especially when you're doing what we call a honeycomb set. It's where basically it's zigzag. So you will have that last space in the corner that doesn't have a diamond there. So you have to fill that space with a bead. But some people take advantage and put more beads so you don't have to worry about getting all of these crazy sizes of diamonds to fill those spaces, because you know, you buy a half a carat of 0.07 millimeter diamonds, you're never going to use them ever again. And you know what, for me, I always use them because of my teeth.
I dig it. That set looks fire though.
It is.
Word. Ru, can you tell us about your process?
Yeah, sure. I start from the dental impression and get the mold myself, and then from there, carve the wax for whatever the design is. I don't cast myself. I don't have that equipment, so that is my one step that's out of house. And then I'll come back and I'll polish it down, make sure it fits correctly. So far, I've really been focused on straight gold and maybe doing like different cuts within the wax. I would definitely love to learn how to place diamonds, and just hearing Helen talk about that sounds really cool. But for now, I'm just doing straight gold.
That's fire. Word, like I seen some of the homies, like my homie Gianni and Aaron and stuff. Like I seen them, like they've been rocking them proudly. I seen Aaron yesterday too. Word.
Mm-hmm.
But it's fire though. Like you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Helen, can you tell us about your process?
Yeah, I don't make anything. I have wholesale relationships with different vendors. How I got into the business was literally someone was like, hey, do you want to sell Grillz together? Actually, she said, do you want to flip Grillz? Because jewelry is a business of middlemen for the most part, unfortunately, and maybe fortunately. She just came to me like, we can make money by reselling these things we can buy wholesale. And I was like, sure, whatever. I needed something to do. But I really took to every aspect of it, the customer relationship and even the vendor relationship. And that's sort of what gave shape to my business. But a lot of people come to me with the understanding that I don't make them, and they choose to shop with me for different reasons. But no, I don't make anything. I have recently stopped dropping off my molds with someone and just hoping for the best. I now, thanks to you, use the Diamond District to get the best of any step in that process from the best service provider possible. So I would say why there's been such a sort of like quick evolution for me is because I'm not sitting there having to figure it out myself. It's like my work is finding the guy who's been doing the stone cutting for 30, 40 years, and then establishing that relationship, communicating my vision, and seeing that the things get made that are in my head.
I dig it. Word. Jules, can you tell us just a little bit more about your process too? I just want to make sure.
Yeah. Real quick, I started off making everything by hand back in the day, and I started off making graffiti nameplates. So I was hand making everything in my basement East Village apartment until I wasn't able to really keep up with the demand. And then I started doing production. So that led me down the path of being able to source, like you, Helen, being able to source the right artisanal talent to match the aesthetic and the design that was driving my look and point of view. And so with my grill business, I partnered with Charlie Goldcap. And since Charlie Goldcap is a 74-year-old Korean hustler, he's been making all of the waxes for me. So he taught me how to do the impressions and also how to do the wax work. And so from there, I take what he teaches me and pass it along channel through my incubator. So I'm mentoring other up and coming emerging grill makers as well. So sort of taking all of my learning interactions and sort of the each one teach one type of vibe and passing it on is how I'm working. And I do a lot of alternative, non-traditional styles. So, and that also has, I mentioned at the beginning, has a lot to do with the way that I see jewelry as a standard. So I'll make things that really look defiant in the teeth, things that are not traditional grills. So lines with pearls hanging out of them. I made a pair of dripping ruby blood pieces for Rosalia. Same thing with Megan Thee Stallion. It's like putting stuff that comes out of your mouth. So while you're talking, or at least trying to talk, like you're seeing more of what the design is intended for. So there are lots of different alternative designs.
I dig it. Word. All right, so this question is for Erica, and then everybody else could chime in also. So like, so Erica, so like I know that you're like a war veteran, like you was in the military and stuff. I wanted to know, like, do you feel like that's like helped you like to be able to navigate through like the Diamond District easier, like in that male dominated place, you know, where there's a bunch of savages. Word.
Yes.
It's crazy out there, honestly.
It is crazy.
Yeah, definitely, Johnny. You've been there with me and you've seen the way I deal with these guys. It's helped me become a tough savage or whatever you call it, because the reason why I'm actually here doing a lot of the process myself was because, you know, when it came down to it, this guy with, you know, this big business and, you know, he's bringing them $10,000 worth of work every month. And me, I'm only bringing a few pieces here and there. I never had priority. So they would leave me on the back end, leave me hanging. It's okay to make Erica angry because she's not contributing as much as these guys are. Or if I say I want something one way, I come back. No, it's better that you do it this way. No, didn't I say I want it that way? You heard? Don't let this lip gloss fool you. So it has helped out a lot. And when these guys, they see this, you know, and I hate saying that, you know, it is a very sexist, and I'm a Black female at that. So looking at me, she doesn't know what she's doing. She doesn't know what she's talking about. I'm a graduate gemologist. I'm a bench jeweler. I've got 6-7 different certifications. Thank God for the GI Bill. They, you know, pushed me through all of the education that I wanted to, and I'm still not finished. So meanwhile, these guys are saying, I don't know what I'm talking about. And I've got way more training and education under my belt than all of them do, but I'm just not, my scale isn't as big, and I don't want it as big as them, because at the end of the day, I'm here because this is what I love to do. It's my passion. It's what makes me happy. So yeah.
I dig it. I just want to pause and say that Erica is like one of my mentors. Like she actually taught me how to take the impressions for the teeth and taught me how to carve out the grills and stuff. So I'm appreciative for that. Thank you, Erica. Word. You heard? Also, so can anybody else just give me like a little bit of like, tell me about their like experiences just within like the Diamond District and, or just like in this male dominated field, just a short, brief thing. Cause we got like 15 minutes left.
Can I
yeah.
jump in?
Pull up.
Can I jump in?
Yeah, let's get it, bro.
I would say, so I've experienced like jewelry districts in Miami, New York, and LA. And I'll say, yeah, there's always going to be people who want to not help you or make it harder, especially being a woman. I look super young as well. So people are like, what are you even doing here? But there's always going to be somebody that wants to help. There's always going to be somebody who puts you on. And it takes time to find that person. But anytime I've gone to a new district or a new city, I've just really taken my time to find, you know, whether it's a casting studio or whatever, but somebody that I'm able to really vibe with and connect with, because you need that help throughout the process. And I always want to be able to work with somebody that is going to answer questions for me if I need them.
That's fire. So there's always light at the end of the tunnel, you know? Like you gotta keep it, like you gotta know that something positive is gonna pop up out of this, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Word.
So true, agree.
All right. What about Bijules? Can you tell me something?
Yeah, I'll tell you something. You know, I think all of us have been doing our grind for long enough to know that we can get a lot of wins, but we also want to fall as well. And I think there's a lot to be said about failure. And I have made lots of mistakes in my career, but learned so much more and have been able to build a more stable and established business because of that. I also think that it's really, like you said, Ru, like there's always going to be someone there. Have hope that there's someone there, and also don't be afraid to ask for help, so you can avoid these pitfalls. Like for sure, I'm not going to allow any of my mentorees to buy a really expensive stone without insurance. Why? Why would I see them suffer through that when I already know what's going to happen there? So I think also sort of looking out for the community around you and being communicative, and don't fear to ask for help. Like everybody's here to help, and if they're not, that's cool too, you know. But I think like keeping an open mind about being able to know that you're imperfect, we're all humans and we're going to make mistakes, and to get up fast and keep it moving.
Namaste. Word. Helen, would you like to add anything?
Sure. I think the Diamond District is really rough. There are so many things I don't enjoy about it. It kind of actually sucks. It's mobland.
It is.
The good thing for me is that, I mean, I understand that government is a gang, tech is the mob, like everything corporate is, but in that world, when you're dealing with these folks who are often from other countries and stuff, they're not gonna do surface like fake nice. If somebody outright is sexist or racist, they'll let you know it. But also, even if someone is sexist or racist, they're there for money, and they're not gonna let that get in their way. So I can maneuver there in ways that I was not able to in my white collar profession. And everything else in my life prepared me to deal with these folks. And I've come to enjoy even the people who try to exploit me, because you can see it coming, anything they do. But I think that as business owners, we have the right to choose for ourselves which risks we're going to take and who we're going to deal with. And generally it's for a specific outcome. So with that understanding, I'm just down for the ride. And as that world opens up, I'm finding out there's so much more diversity there than I could have predicted. People with just like so many different approaches. And as long as I'm listening, there's something I can learn and there's something I can use. So I appreciate having that as like the center of like my work life, even though it's challenging. Sometimes it's not challenging. Sometimes it's like kind of devastating almost, but it's more like the circumstances are devastating than like I feel devastated by it.
I dig it. This is just like a random question. Well, I came up this other day, like, so me just being like a jeweler, like I have like jeweler's anxiety, you know, where like stuff goes wrong and then like you on a deadline and then, you know, it's just, you just don't know what to do. Or, you know, so like I wanted to know, like, what do you do when this happens? Like, do you have anything that you use for like grounding or like, you know, any like, you know, meditation practices or anything just to keep you clear and grounded during this? This is a question for anybody. Anybody? Nope.
I do for
freak
sure.
out.
Yeah, I mean, like, I got into jewelry because they literally told me, you can't do your job here because you're Black and you confuse us. Are you a man or a woman? So I had to build up this whole life around me to have my feet on the ground. So, you know, I'm at church every week. I got physical trainers. I got a therapist. I got a psychiatrist. I have these coaches who, like, people who mentor me. I have these people who I mentor. Like, I have this life dedicated to service and community building, right? And that's what I had for my own mental. And on my way out of my career, the jewelry took off because that's how I was living. So when the jewelry took off, I'm running. And when COVID hit, I had to slow back down. But lucky for me, I had all this infrastructure built up around me to stay healthy and to stay well, instead of feeling sort of like defeated and like, I don't know, I don't matter because people said so. And I think it's really important, especially if you're in the service industry, to have that kind of stuff. And then when it comes to jewelry, which is so personal, people put a lot of emotions on you as a vendor, as a creator. So it's good to have those things for yourself to keep that from driving you crazy. But when it comes to customers, I don't like setting expectations that I can't meet. So post-COVID, I'm not telling you a turnaround time. I'm telling you how long I think it'll take. And I have a staff that's going to give you everything you need to feel comfortable. So when you need to talk to someone and make sure your money didn't go down a black hole and this is a real company, they're there for you. They'll explain where we're at in the process and why, but leave me alone. Because the more I'm involved in sort of like calming them down, the more sort of messed up I am. And like, if my attitude's not right, that's not a good way to approach making someone's jewelry because that's precious. So I try not to tell them anything about dates and times. When I have to, even still, it's never absolute, never. And that's why my business moves as slow as it does. That's why my business not as lucrative as it could be, because I'm not setting expectations that I can't meet, and I'm not going to have everyone on the internet talking about me doing something that like I never said I would do.
I think, amen, Helen. I think also like building boundaries is something that I've learned how to do as an art. There's so much that we have to protect. We have to protect our personal lives. We have to protect our professional lives. We have to protect the other lives that we are helping, those who we mentor, those who are mentoring us. There are all these frontiers and borders that section us off from each other. And I like to keep a healthy distance for safety. well-being, and to know that we can move forward. But, you know, first and foremost, we have to worry about ourselves, because we won't be able to create if we're not healthy.
I dig it. That's a fact. This next questions, I wanted to know what brings you the most joy out of making jewelry? I mean, making grills, and like, what are like some of your favorite pieces that you made? You know, this could be for anybody. Jules?
Oh yeah, sure. I mean, of course, we talked about Erica's. I've made several sets for her. I think no matter how famous or infamous you are, when you see the client put them in and you realize that then now they've become who they've always wanted to be. And that doesn't matter what their name is, where they come from, how much money they make, where they live, what their job is, blah, blah. As soon as you see their personality click with the click of the grill, it just brings it home. It really does. It's like something like, where have I been my whole life? And then all of a sudden, when they put this piece in, no matter how drippy it is, no matter how traditional of a look it might be, they just knew, you know, that they've found themselves in that whole process, and that you've become a conduit for these clients to romance themselves. And that is priceless. And I think it's really an honor to be part of that process.
Namaste. Erica, can you tell us like any pieces that you love the most, or, you know, very proud of?
Well, yeah, I agree with her. Like, it's seeing the client wear that piece that you've created. I'd like to quote someone: when the ice hit the light, it twinkles and glisten. When I when I see that piece being worn and the ice hits the light and it just hits, because I know I've put my all into that. When I'm scrolling up Instagram and I see my guys wearing my grills, my chains, my rings, and, you know, I primarily work with athletes. So Sunday, it's football. Monday, it's football. Thursday, it's football. I'm watching, I'm seeing if they have their earrings on, their chains on, if they've got their grills on under their helmets, and it just drives me insane. That's all I need. See how excited I am?
When I was watching the Super Bowl last year, I don't watch football, but I saw the chains. I was like, holy crap, like, these guys are doing it. Like, they're really doing it. That's awesome. That's
awesome. I have another question. So like, some people have like straight teeth, some people have like crooked teeth, some people have like chipped teeth, some people have missing teeth. So like, how does that, like, what's the process for that? Like, are you highlighting those characteristics, or like, are you hiding them? Like, you know, how does that work out?
Yo, I have made grills and I called them the like hunchback grills. Like, homie had teeth, but still he's like, don't change it, that's what it is, but help me out here. So I have some clients that, you know, you get a root canal, you have a missing gap in your teeth. So then I just put a full-on diamond in it, not a pave diamond, like a serious 3-carat diamond, because it's the size of the missing tooth, you know. So it's like, take advantage of the missing tooth. Some people, you know, I make a lot of gaps, and when I see these like cavernous gaps, I just want to fill them. So a lot of times people think, oh, I've had this since I was a kid, now it's cool. I'm like, oh yeah, we can really make that pop right there, right there. So some people want to take advantage of the imperfections of their mouths, and some people want to hide them. And working with Charlie Goldcap, it's one of his fortes is to fix teeth because he used to be a dentist. So he's had full on like 6 missing teeth. And so he's made open face grills, but put porcelain behind them all. So we have done some like magic working in terms of correcting and beautifying imperfections. It's fun.
So cool.
That's fire. Dang, I think we almost forgot, but I just want to know, this last question. Since this is NYC Jewelry Week, can you tell me like a little bit of how New York has influenced your practice?
If it wasn't for New York, I wouldn't be here now.
Facts. Let's get it.
Serious. Where else in the world can you make a piece of jewelry in one goddamn day? Where?
Facts.
Really?
Definitely.
You can think about it for breakfast and have it done by dinner.
That's fire. I concur. All right, so I think we're gonna wrap in a second, but I want to know what's next for all you guys, and like what should we be looking for? Where can we find you? And yeah, like what projects are you guys working on? I'll start with Ru. My bad. Ru.
Yeah. Right now, I think what's next for me is really expanding my world into like a studio space. I've been currently working out of my home, which is also kind of tough, especially with Grillz clients, and it makes me very selective about who I can even work with because they're coming to my personal space. So I just look forward to having a space that is safe for clients, safe for me, and is also reflective of the greater vision that I have of heaven on earth, and can bring in other products as well, and everyone can see how it all fits together.
I dig it. Where can they find you? Where can everybody find you at?
I'm on IG, Zona Baari, that's ZONA BAARI. And my website is zonabaari.com.
I bet. Follow. Hello. Erica?
Yeah, well, for me, 2021, I am going back to GIA for another 7.5 months. And I'm doing the JDT, the 3D design course. So once I'm done that, I'm actually going to kind of scale back on the production and do more so working with other jewelers as far as designing for them and getting stuff produced for them. So just kind of, backing off. I got all the drip that I want, so I'm okay with scaling back.
All right, Helen?
I just started getting into making other custom work. I'm hoping to, I guess, sort of make my style translate into different kinds of jewelry. It's been pretty interesting so far, but there's really no telling because I didn't predict this. I didn't even ask for this, so I'm excited to see what's to come.
We're excited too. I'm excited. Jules, let's get it.
Yeah, there's lots of stuff coming through the pipeline. I think my most recent new idea are these guys. I'm making fine jewelry for consumer tech. So you can wear like hoops, diamond studs, pearls, necklaces, all up and down on your ear pods. So I'm doing that, and then working with the Bijules incubator and forming more opportunity and programming for the BIPOC jewelry community.
That's fine. Dang, I wanted to. Oh, can people know how they can join the incubator program?
Yeah, for sure. You can go to Instagram and see some of the work at Bijules Incubator. It's Bijules Incubator. And you can hit me up on DM there.
All right, cool. Thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye. Good night.